It's like an Argentinian waiter.
Yeah. It's like, you're from Peru, aren't you?
Yeah.
What kind of establishment is this?
You change your socks less often. You know what I'm saying?
What is up, guys? It's Sam from the Axe Pals again, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So, as you may or may not know, this week we're having a clinic with Tosin, Abasi, and Javier Reyes from Animals as Leaders, and it should be pretty sweet. Anyway, I figured it would be a good idea to document the whole thing, get you guys a little vloggy McVloggerson, some behind-the-scenes action, you know what I'm saying? Now, I make no promises about this part, but hopefully there's enough time to get Tosin and Javier for a private conversation. We'll be able to ask them some questions and get you guys something that you haven't heard before. That would be pretty cool. I would ask you guys what you want to know, but you're not going to see this until after the whole thing happens, so it's kind of pointless. I'll ask you guys anyway. What would you want to know? Let us know in the comments down below. So that's enough of an introduction. Let's head over to the Axe Palace. We got to get the shop set up for this clinic. I'll see you over there. Let's go. I made it to the car, but I forgot the keys.
Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world going bad.
Cool. Should we do the thing? Sure. All right. Question number one. What's one question that you're sick of? Or what's the one question that you get asked the most?
How did you meet Tosin?
Where? I'm not going to ask you that. Part of me is tempted to ask you that question, be like, so what's the answer? But I'm not going to do that. So we were told to ask you questions. First one, what is one question that you're sick of, or the one question that stands out as like, man, I get asked this question all the time by everyone. What's like the one question that you're always asked?
I mean, it's like, what are your influences? It's not a bad question. It's a good question. But I feel like I've answered in so many interviews that if someone's asking me that, it's like they're just haven't read any of my interviews.
Yeah.
And so it seems, I don't know. I could probably think of a worse question, but you got to give me a second.
Nah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Second question. What's one obscure piece of gear that you had and really liked or used, and it's just like a weird thing that you weren't expecting or...
I once had a double neck Ibanez 7-string and 6-string that I knew at the time was like there was only like 12 or 20 of them made, but I had to get rid of it because I needed gear to play in Animals as Leaders.
Next question?
Yeah.
Next question. What's one obscure piece of gear that you used to have and really liked or used on a lot of stuff and just like never talked about it, never showed it in any videos or, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like
a good question.
Or one piece when you were just starting out that you were like, man, this was my tone when I was just starting out.
I mean, yeah, I used the Pod XT. Actually, Line 6 had these pedal series. They were like 4-button wide pedals, like the delay.
Like the DL4?
Yeah. They had one that was a modulation
yes
pack, and there was like cool laser beam sounds and stuff in there, and I used to use them. And I just remembered because I'm like really stoked on Car Bomb lately, and Greg's doing a lot of really cool stuff with synths and ring mods. And I'm like, oh wait, there was this Line 6 thing I had in like 2003 that would do like pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, weird. I literally forgot about that. I don't think many people used that particular one because the delay was so popular. But this was the purple one This was like the modulation box.
I was just gonna say, because I have a DL4 that sits in my studio and I plug it in every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing's pretty
People
sweet.
really like that thing, yeah.
I always wanted the other ones too, but never got to play with it. Very jealous. Next question. Do you guys write differently with Matt than you did with Navene?
Absolutely.
So how is the band dynamic or the creative process? Do they work differently? Do you guys all like write together more with one than the other? Like, how has that whole experience changed for you guys with the shift in drummers?
Well, Navene also plays guitar. And so working with him, and he also produced electronic music. So working with him it wasn't very drum centric. He wrote some rhythm parts. He is extremely tight right hand, like the dude can riff hard. So if you listen to Weightless, there's a huge influence from him from a lot of the rhythm parts, and then also the production is his, and then like synth stuff. It's like the synth work is kind of what he was into at the time.
Do you guys write differently with Matt than you did with Navene? What's the different drummer experience been like? Has that changed your guys' band dynamic at all, or like writing dynamic or creative process?
Matt is a way more like studied drummer, so like his rhythmic vocabulary is literally like a book, whereas Navene is closer to what myself or Tosin, how we write is more so like a feel and kind of just when something cool comes out.
Working with Matt is like rhythmic concepts that like are beyond any guitar player I know. It's like this is born of the mind of someone who obsesses over rhythm.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest difference working with Matt, because it's like he'll have to write out these patterns for me and he'll have to break down what's happening. And usually I was the guy like, here's the riff and here's the pattern, but it's cool working with him because he's so deep into that stuff that it's like it's a learning process for me, and it like makes our output seem even more complex and wide.
Cool. Totally. So does he write like solo and then bring it to you, or do you guys sit in a room and jam it out, or like
both? Because a lot of the composition is still guitar focused, guitar centric. But if you listen to Arithmophobia, it's the first track on Madness of Many, that existed as a drum composition. He had some basic synths, but we got rid of all of the melodic layers and we just took his patterns, and me and Javier inputted guitar harmony into that. So
notes and stuff.
Yeah, so that song is, kind of a drum song.
Huh.
Yeah, and then there's parts on the album where we'd have 70% of the song, and then he'd take the point where we kind of didn't have anything else written, and he would be like, continue the groove, and then, yeah, so it's really great working with him because he's so driven and like really obsessed with some rhythmic concepts that I feel like are really interesting, and so I wouldn't be able to think of that stuff.
Cool. What alternate passion would you be pursuing if you weren't pursuing guitar professionally?
Anything?
Yeah, if you could be doing anything else, what would you be doing?
I don't know. Like spaceship pilot.
That'd be pretty sweet.
You right?
Would you go to Mars?
I mean, I would attempt.
Knowing that like you couldn't come back? Because that's like the thing, right?
Depends what how fucked up my life is here at the time, but.
Today, would you? What alternate passion would you be pursuing if you weren't pursuing guitar professionally?
Driving. Race cars.
Driving?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What's your favorite car? Like what would you be driving?
Well, I haven't driven everything. I haven't had a really in-depth Ferrari experience. I've driven the F12 Berlinetta, but like, I really like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. That thing is insane. That being said, I really want to get into something rear-wheel drive and a bit more raw, like a Viper ACR Extreme Aero or something, and like, because I've only driven like all-wheel drive cars, really, and I really want to get some rear-wheel drive sort of dynamics. Maybe, yeah. So that would be it, yeah.
Last question. If you could change one thing about the music industry or being a pro guitarist, what would it be?
If I would change one thing about the music industry or being a pro guitarist?
or like your experience? Do you feel like you tour too much? Do you carry too much gear? Like, are you?
Touring can be a grind if it is the bulk of your income, because it means you need to be away more than your home. And your lifestyle can be compromised on the road. It's hard to maintain relationships and stay healthy and not think that drinking Jameson every night is a good idea and stuff like that. Or like, you change your socks less often. You know what I'm saying? But I would say the streaming thing is a really bittersweet reality because it exposes music to so many people. Your music is so accessible that I think it's amazing. But the percentage that goes to the artist is criminal.
If you could change one thing about the music industry or being a pro guitarist, what would it be?
It would be cool if the musicians could make most of the money and not the other side of the industry.
And so we have this like renaissance of people like having limitless collections of music. The word collection doesn't even count because it's like you don't even own music anymore. You can listen to anything you want for one fee, but I feel that they should be paying artists something more fair because their business model is based off of artists' output, but then the people making the music receive the smallest percentage of the revenue, and it just seems like anyone who looks at it is like, this is really messed up. And I'm not one of these people who gets on a high horse about it. I'm happy people have music available. I use streaming services, but I would say we'd have a lot more musicians who are able to make a living off the music if they weren't getting fractions of a penny per stream. So.
Well, that's all the questions that we were told to ask you.
Sick.
I hope they weren't the worst questions you've ever asked.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. I hope those weren't the worst questions you've ever
No,
had.
that was actually one of the better interviews I've ever done, actually. So.
Oh, really?
Good
Was one
job.
of the answers your lifestyle determines your death style?
My lifestyle. Who sings that?
Metallica. It's like their worst song ever.
And we're back in the studio. That was an amazing clinic and such a cool opportunity. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and learned something. To be honest, Animals as Leaders' first album was like a hugely influential record for me back in high school during those real definitive years of teenage music taste, you know what I'm saying? And I'd never met them before, so my inner 16-year-old was like totally freaking out, and it was super cool. On behalf of myself and the Axe Palace, thank you so much to Tosin and Javier for coming out and letting me shove cameras in your faces. And a huge thank you as well to Fishman for making this happen. Last but not least, thank you guys for watching. This video was a first for us, so let us know what you thought of it in a comment downstairs. If you liked it, do us a favor and smash that thumbs up button. Click here to subscribe and click here to watch another video. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm gonna go make some coffee. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!